Hi, this is Dr. Fab Mancini, and I'm so excited to be able to bring to you some amazing people in my life to be able to know how to respond to this crisis, this pandemic. And I have the pleasure of bringing a dear friend of mine. Saleem is the president of Excite Medical. I have known him for years. Most of us know him for being the guru in decompression. His baby is the DRX 9000, which is single-handedly have served many patients out there and prevented surgeries. Saleem, it's so great to see you, man. I can't wait to have this conversation with you because I know you have been able to respond in a very positive way, but you also have done a lot of research to help us understand a lot about financing our businesses during this difficult time.
Yes, and I really appreciate you taking the time and talking to me right now. And it's an absolute honor to do this, to have this conversation with you.
Well, I'm excited because I know that you remain essential because many of the hundreds of doctors that you serve are keeping a lot of people from going to the ER and the emergency center, which, as you know, our hospitals are overstressed. So tell me a little bit about what's happening with some of these providers, because I know right now if people are in a lot of pain and they don't want to have surgery, or maybe they can't even get to the hospital or be able to have that service, there's still some of your providers that I'm sure that are still opening, servicing some of these people.
Yes, absolutely. And, our providers are providing telehealth, which is a new thing that, we weren't talking about 5 years ago. They're providing telehealth for non-urgent cases, and for urgent cases, they are open. So if somebody has back pain or neck pain, and it's severe and it's urgent, our providers are there, and we support our providers. Actually, it's pretty easy to find them. Just go to drxtelehealth.com, and we can send you to a provider near you that is open today for urgent cases of, whether it's neuropathy, back pain, neck pain, or whatnot.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about financing. Recently the government released a care package to give us some financial relief as a business. And the Small Business Administration is really being very busy trying to help businesses like ours. So in your opinion, tell me a little bit about your understanding. What do they classify as a small business? And tell me a little bit about how you see this care package really be able to be utilized for many of us to continue business as, even though we're dealing with probably the most unprecedented crisis that I've seen in the world, in the history of the world.
Yeah, so, and the SBA recognizes anything under 500 employees. If you have less than 500 employees, you're a small business. I'm a small business. And I've actually been pretty impressed with SBA.gov. And it's tough. And it's tough because it's constantly changing. I'd be talking to somebody today and I'd tell them something, they'd say, well, that's not on there. I checked the website yesterday. But they really have done a pretty good job with the website, and they have some pretty, great things to help small businesses.
Well, tell me a little bit about, one of these things that, what are you recommending for people that are small businesses or even small practices or practices for the providers? What are you finding that is working for you?
So, the PPP is a really good program. It's the Paycheck Protection Program. And you can apply for it through a bank that you have an existing relationship with. You can't just walk into any bank and apply for it. Now, what most people don't realize is that even though the president signed on Friday the bill, it doesn't mean that Monday we could apply. Because that's what I did. I called my bank up on Monday and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And come to find out, basically, from when the president signs, the government actually has 15 days to roll out to the banks with all the details. What we do know so far is officially For the PPP, you can apply beginning today. There's a 6-month deferral, and basically what it's going to be covering is 250% of your 1 month's payroll, as well as your utilities. And the number I keep on hearing is your utilities, your operating expense, which would include your rent, and if you have a mortgage on, like, let's say you own your building, the interest on that would be included as well. They're capping that at 25% of your payroll. So let's say your payroll is $50,000 a month, and you sit there, and you got another $50,000 a month in bills. Too bad. It's going to be 25%. So what they're trying to do is really narrow down to make sure that the essential utilities and your bills are getting paid. And again, you just basically you go to the bank that you have an existing relationship with, and you apply through them. If you guys have any questions, you can, the easiest email address to reach me at is info@drx9000.com. And I can send you a list of things that they're all recommending for us to have ready. Most people on their payroll, they actually are using Paychecks or ADP. If you use one of them, I would highly recommend to give them a call. I called Paychecks, and they told me that they have a whole team rolling out a special report to help us in our application process. But they said it's on a first come, first go service, so you actually have to call them. Same thing with all of this. You have to reach out. You have to reach out to your local bank. Even though they may not have the answer to your questions, bug them. Ask them, hey, did you get an update? Because if they don't have the answer, they go to somebody above them. They're going to get it. But it is a lot of people that is applying all at once. And so we do have to be patient, even though, as tough as it is.
So the Paycheck Protection Plan is trying to encourage us to stay on business, but also maintain our employees. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you have to maintain. So they ask you, how many employees did you have basically in January, right? And they want to make sure that you maintain that amount of employees. If you have turnover in staff or whatnot, you're okay. You still have to remain that kind of employees. And basically, they're trying to prevent them from entering into the unemployment system.
Yeah, that's important. So how does now we learn about that, and you clarified it for us. It's important to make sure that you go to your bank, wherever you do your banking, and begin to discuss that opportunity. But let's talk a little bit about this SBA loans, because right now it seems like the government is releasing some of these loans. I'm not sure if it's primarily for the disaster or for the injury, but tell me a little bit about what do we need to learn? What do we need to know about this SBA loans, and how do we go about it?
Yeah. So first of all, if you have an SBA loan that's in place, the government is actually going to make your next 6 months payments principal plus interest. This is not a deferral. This is not, hey, you don't make them now, you owe them later. They're going to make them. But you have to reach out. You have to contact your provider, your loan provider, whoever you have that loan with. You have to reach out to them and ask them about it to get enrolled. If they have you in auto draft, you got to stop it, right? Because unless you want to just pay down your loan faster, right? But these auto systems, everything you got going in auto systems, it lacks a thing that us humans have, which is emotion, right? So it has no idea what COVID is. It has no idea what's going on. So it's going to automatically keep going into your bank account. So you need to reach out to your SBA loan provider, whoever you have it with. Make sure you stop the auto draft if you need to. Most do. stop the auto draft, and request that 6 months payment. So if you're, if your payments are $3,000 a month, that's $18,000 that you would be missing out on if you don't take action and call your provider.
Now, is this money that we're going to have to pay back, or is this relief money that is forgiven?
So this in particular, in my understanding, is forgiven.
Okay.
The other loan, which is the economic injury and disaster loan, that's a bit of, that's not a grant. So most people are thinking, hey, they're automatically giving out these grants. It's not, it's a form of a loan. So as far as the payments on your existing loan, they will pay that. If you need money to help you through these tough times, the SBA has always had an economic injury and disaster type of loan. And we've seen that recently. It was available to people in California with the fires. It was available for people in Colorado when the earthquake hit. Right now, it's available for the entire country because of COVID-19. Now, the economic injury and disaster loan, you can apply for it. That is not something that you apply for with a banker. That's something you apply online. So you would go to SBA.gov, and you would click through it. And actually, I'll go to the screen right now and show you how to get there. How about that?
That would be amazing. You know, and the reason that this is so important is because, and you can go ahead and change the screen. It's because, there's a lot of questions around this, but one of the things that I love about Saleem as a businessman is the fact that you have to be ahead of the curve. You cannot just wait and do nothing, because right now it's overwhelming how many people are really looking for answers to be able to sustain their business, keep their employees. And yes, you hear those things whenever we watch the news, but how do they get implemented into our business? And that's one of the things, Saleem, that I really appreciate you sharing all this information with us.
Oh, no problem. Do you see Google on your screen
Yes.
right now?
Yes.
All right, so this is how you do it. So we're just gonna go to SBA.gov. And you're gonna click on Learn More. I mean, it's the first thing that you see.
Love it.
And then once you click on Learn More, you just scroll down, right? Here's the funding options. You're going to scroll down, and basically, actually, it's the very first thing. I just passed it, Corona funding options. You click here to learn more about SBA loan. Here is the coronavirus relief. You scroll down, and they actually have 4 different programs. We'll talk about all of them, okay?
Okay.
Well, I actually already talked about the Paycheck protection. So what you're going to do is, see, this is new. They just started this. So we're going to go to this $10,000 advance. And we're going to apply. To apply for, right under eligibility, it says to apply for COVID. You click here. You click there. And there we go. Now this is the eligibility entity verification. So most people are going to fall into the category of applicant is a business with no more than 500 employees. Now, if you're a realtor or if you are an independent contractor, some of these other options are going to apply for you. So you choose one of these, and then you want to just let the government know that you're not a criminal, so you got to check off all these other things, and you haven't ripped them off before. And you're not a government entity, and you're not a casino, and you're not a place where people commit adultery. So we're going to click through, and this is it. And then you apply through here. And we'll talk a little bit more about that application process. Let me just stop the screen share. All right, you got me back with you?
Yes, so that's beautiful, because if you go to the SBA, is it SBA.org or SBA.com?
SBA.gov.
SBA.gov, and then you click right there in coronavirus options. So let's talk a little bit about them, because I'm really eager myself because I haven't had a chance to do all the research you've done. I've been busy trying to lift everybody's spirits when it comes to their health and then their mindset. But this is real important because this is our businesses, you know?
Yeah, they got to meet my son. And if, you know, if Andrew, stuff, you, it's amazing. You watch, you know, you watch a toddler and they don't care what's going on out there. You know, so just keep that in mind when you walk in your house, no matter how much stress you're under, you know, your children, you know, that, I mean, anyway, that's a whole different topic. But just to get back to that economic injury disaster loan. So it is a loan, right? And they actually, I have heard people talk about 3 different things when they're all one. So, you know, for example, the government's going to give me $10,000. No, there's only one type of loan, right? And that's this economic injury disaster loan. And it's very easy to submit. But all you're doing is you're submitting a simple application for the government to consider giving you that loan, right? They, you know, they don't even ask you to submit any documents, because after you submit it, they will get back with you and let you know what kind of a loan they're going to give you. They do give you an option to check off that you want a $10,000 in advance, but that is an advance on the loan. It's not a grant. It's not here's some money. I called up a bank and I said, hey, what's this bridge loan? Because I hear about this bridge loan at 20, because there really is, you know, 4 things that they're talking about. The PPP, this $10,000, the bridge loan, and then the payments. So the bridge loan is actually part of that same loan, and it's a bridge to hold you over between that $10,000, if they decide you qualify, between the $10,000 that they give you in advance. You can go to your, it's actually done through your local bank, the $25,000. You have to have an existing relationship with the bank, but it's basically it's a higher number that your bank representative can apply you for. And it's a $25,000 bridge. So basically it's just between the $10,000 and you actually getting the business loan. And again, what you end up actually applying for is just that. It's just the loan. So now the good news is the loan from the various parties that I've talked to, 11 months deferred payments. So you don't have to make payment for 11 months, number 1. Number 2, it's a very low interest rate, 4% or less. Number 3, they are going to stretch out your payments like a car dealership is stretching out a car payment. You know, they used to do 3 years. Now you can get a 10-year auto loan. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's actually 10 years. They're going to stretch out your loan payments because, you know, your typical business loan is financed over 5 years. They're going to stretch it out longer because they want to give people the lowest number possible. So apply online, number 1, for the loan. Request the $10,000 in advance. Contact your local banker that you have an existing relationship with. They are writing that everywhere. You can't just walk into any bank off the street. And the bank has, well, most of them are participating, but you contact your local banker, you let them know that you've applied online, you've submitted your application, you'd like to apply for the bridge loan. Because a lot of bankers are not even caught up with what's going on. And so they'll tell you, no, all we do here is the PPP. Incorrect. You do the PPP and you do the bridge loan. So if they don't know, tell them, please contact your manager, please contact your supervisor, and they will find out. Please be patient. People at the bank are human like you and I, so you just have to be patient with them. And I'll tell you, you know, it's the old saying goes, you get a lot more bees with a honey, right? And so you gotta be patient with these people. They're under a lot of stress. They're getting a lot of calls, and it's okay for them not to know. It's okay. It's you know, it could make no sense. Like, how are you in banking and you don't know the basic things, you know, and that's only because things are moving very fast, number one. Number two, keep in mind, the president signed it on Friday. They have 15 days, so that's about 2 weeks, to actually inform the bank of the full rules. So be patient, apply online, go into your banks. If you have an SBA loan, call your lender, get them to stop the auto pay, and ask for the 6 months payments.
You know, I love the fact that you recapped it, because I know right now so many people are just so overwhelmed, and they're trying to think about so many things at once, from personal issues to business issues. And one question that I had is that, is there a specific amount that you can borrow up to? Is it up to $25,000, or can you borrow more money?
Yeah, so it's not, no, actually $25,000 is just to hold you over. So it really depends on the size of your business. $25,000 sounds like a lot, but if your overhead is $50,000 a month, that's only 25% of 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So what they ask you is, they ask you, what's your revenue? So when you apply online for the main relief, there is no number. Well, there is a number. I think it's, you know, under $10 million or something, or some big number. But there is no specific number. They ask you what's your revenue, and they ask you what's your cost of goods sold. And then they're going to contact you back and kind of let you know how much you would qualify for. And you can't really make these numbers. Well, you can make up whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the government is going to look at your tax returns from years past, right? So if they look at you, I'd imagine, right? Again, I'm not the government. I'm not the one giving out $2 trillion, right? By the way, I typed that out. That's like this many zeros. But I can tell you that if you sit there and you fill out this application and you write down that your revenue is $5 million, but they look at your tax returns from 2018, 2017, 2016, and you averaged $150,000 in revenue, you're going to go to the back of the line.
So it's going to be based upon your business size, your business revenue, your expenses, etc. Now, let's talk a little bit about something else, because I've known you for a few years, and you're one of the most savvy marketers in business that I've seen. So what are, maybe for those of us that are listening, business owners, providers, what are some of the marketing things that you're seeing? You have over 1 million followers on Facebook alone. What are some of the things that you would recommend us consider doing right now, especially when we have a little bit of time?
Yeah, so, you know, times like this really have you thinking things over. You know, I would say literally before the baseball part broke down, that was kind of the first, you know, bit of news that they're going to start to, you know, not letting people go to certain places. I had about 4 flights scheduled over the next 4 weeks, and all of them got canceled, right? So all my trips got canceled, and I'm thinking, man, I got to reach out to people in general. I just got to reach out to them because you just got to. So going online, I will tell you that most business owners and most doctors have not Googled their own name. If you're a doctor, your name is more important, right? If you're a business owner, your business name is important. But if you are a doctor, Google your own name and Google your business name. So the first thing that I'm noticing, because I was sitting there going over the internet and I'm looking, and I don't know how many people I Googled. And one of the most common things I would see is a profile, and then it's asking me, is this your profile? Claim the profile. I could not, that means that doctor or that practice has a profile that they did not claim, they did not update. They're not seeing reviews that patients are writing. And so you need to update your online profiles. Make sure that your information is correct, because guess what your patients are doing? guess what your patient, they're Googling you, they're checking you out. Now, you may think you're a superstar. You may be a superstar. You may be a Dr. Fab. but if you go on the internet and you have a profile that nobody knows who you are and has never met you, they may have a different impression. So you need to go online, update your profiles, Google your own name, Google your business name. And if you have multiple profiles, combine them into one and make the max out of your Google profile. And what I mean by that is don't just claim it. Right now, if you have some downtime, go through it. Write about yourself, you know, because even if a person, a human, is not seeing that profile, Google robots are seeing it. They're crawling the web all the time. And that's information that feeds into the overall search engine world. So when they talk about organic, how can I organic means free, right? It means that you're not paying per click, you're not paying per thing. Your information is rising to the top organically. And so the more arrows that are pointing your way, the better off you are. So if you have 20 different profiles and they're all talking about what you do, whether you're a primary care physician, whether you're a chiropractor, a physical therapist, or a surgeon, if they're all talking about you, it points to you. Just please do not make the mistake of copy and paste. Do not put the same information on 20 profiles. Google, the robots will automatically ignore that. So take the time and write information in your own words. Don't have anybody else write it for you. The most successful guys that I've seen out there are the guys that are putting in time themselves and are participating in the marketing rather than just having somebody do it all for them.
And tell me a little bit about Yelp, because I know you have some experience there. A lot of people use Yelp as a way of identifying a business, a provider. What's been your experience? What do you think we should do there?
What I was really surprised about was discovering several years back that Yelp has a direct relationship with Apple. And if you look in your iPhone, iPad, and you open up Maps, if you search for a business, it uses Yelp to find it. Now, as a business owner, I was annoyed with Yelp calling me, wanting me to pay them to, for their services. And I took a position that I would say most people took and saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with Yelp. Yelp is no good. Just wanted to ignore them. Well, unfortunately for us, they got in with Apple. And we're not in Korea, and everybody here doesn't use the Samsung, right? The majority are using Apple, and the maps are directly connected with Yelp. So you need to take your Yelp profile seriously. You need to go on there. You need to claim it. You already have a profile, whether you like it or not. If you are a business and you have an address, you got a profile, okay? You need to go on there. You need to claim that profile, and you need to update it. Put in some pictures, put in some information, tell people. And whether it's Yelp, Google, or any other profile online, make sure that it's tied into an email address that you get. I personally have them tied to an email address that I get on my cell phone. And the reason I get them on my cell phone is so that when somebody writes a review, I see it. Good, bad, or indifferent, you need to see what's happening. Don't be blind to the world around you by just seeing because if you're a doctor in practice, you could be the hottest thing in town, and some young kid just graduated out of medical school or chiropractic school or wherever, they opened up down the street from you after they've had enough experience underneath somebody, and guess what they're doing that you're not doing? They're desperate for business. So they're doing the online profiles. They're doing all these things. And a lot of times I'm asked, hey, why is that guy in town so popular online and I'm not? Well, because he's taking the time to do the work.
And if we look at Facebook, you know, most people use their Facebook on a personal level. Some people have really been savvy in using Facebook from a business perspective. What are maybe one or two tips that you would encourage everybody, since you've been so successful with your business Facebook page?
Spend some time on it. You know, you need to, that's another profile. I know, you know, I sound like a broken record, keep on saying profiles, but that's the reality. You know, 20 years ago, you put an ad in the yellow pages. And if you had some money and you had good money, you'd go on TV. Everything is online right now, right? And make sure if you have a website, do yourself a favor, make sure it's mobile friendly, okay? 80% of searches are happening from a mobile device. Facebook is critical. Most people are on it. And you know, if you're a medical clinic or a healthcare clinic, most people that are on Facebook are actually right into your sweet spot. They're not on TikTok, okay? They're not on, you know, they're on Facebook. So make sure that you have a complete profile on there, number one. Number two, don't just share things to share things, like post genuine posts and let people know you have it. You know, if you have patients in the office, make sure that they know that you have a Facebook page. And just like I'm on here with you, guess what? I'm going to be posting this on my Facebook channel, facebook.com/DRX9000. And I'm going to be putting it on my YouTube channel as well. And so original content is key, whether it's for Facebook or YouTube.
Now, you mentioned the profiles online, which we covered the top ones. And of course, we also have LinkedIn, which we will say the same thing. But what about, you mentioned our website. This is our time to really take a look at our websites. But what about our databases? I mean, you know, most of us as business owners, we have a database of clients. If we're providers, we have a database of patients. What do you suggest we do during this downtime to really get those things and reconnect them perhaps with those people, so that way maybe as we go through this chaos, maybe we have the opportunity to regain their loyalty and their business?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I started Excite Medical back in 2007, and since 2007, I've had quite a few ups and downs, and I've had a lot of quiet times. What's carried me through is my existing database. It really has. Anytime that I had downtime or quiet time, I went through that database. So basically, what you would do is MailChimp. Sounds silly, but MailChimp is really good. You can, and most offices right now, they have digital records. Every patient that comes in the door, your staff, if you're a doctor, your staff, if you're a restaurant, every patron that comes in the door, it doesn't matter what you have, anybody you deal with, you need to make sure that you have a current email address on them and get a cell phone number, right? And a really easy way to ask for somebody's cell phone number is, what number can I text you at? Yeah. Texting people is really soft, right? And so going through your database, looking at your patients, and if you don't have a good database now, you need to start putting a plan in place on how to create it, okay? A really good time is actually during the summers, and I say that because there's a lot of kids out of school, and I do this myself. I hire interns. I bring them in, and this is busy work, right? So I tell them, here's a list of 4,000 people, call each one, just see how they're doing. Just see how they're doing, you know? If you're a doctor in practice, just having somebody reach out to a patient, especially one that you haven't seen in a long time. If you're in the wellness industry, right? If you're in the wellness industry, and you ask yourself, well, I've seen so many patients, but nobody's ever come back to see me. Now, if you're a nose surgeon, it makes sense, right? Certain things make sense why they don't see a patient again, right? But your primary care doctor, you see on a regular basis. So if you haven't seen that patient for a while, it's because something happened. So staying in touch with your patients through Facebook and through emails using MailChimp, you could upload the list. And what's really nice about MailChimp is it sends out the email and it lets you know how many emails bounced. It lets you know how many emails are opened, okay? So that's a really good way of scrubbing your list. Send out a mass email. Everybody that bounced or everybody that is not going through, print that list up, go into your database and reach out to them if you have their cell phone number and text them. I would definitely put a plan in place that now or forever, every patient that walks into the door, every customer walks in the door, you ask them, what's your name, what's your email address, and what number can we text you at? Begin gathering that information up. You can actually take your list and upload it into Facebook as an audience, which is pretty wild. Most people don't know that. So let's say you have 20,000 patients in your database, right? If you upload their first name, last name, you upload their information into Facebook audience. Now, when you are putting an ad to get more likes, or when you're clicking boost to get more views, you can target your existing patients through the audience part. And if you're having a really difficult time with Facebook, you don't really need to go find a Facebook expert, okay? Because I know many offices right now are going through tough times. So you can actually open up a chat. You can ask Facebook, and you will be shocked at how often you can text somebody back and forth at Facebook, and they will tell you how to do something, right? Email me, info@drx9000.com. I'll be more than glad to help. But that's why your database, your list is so critical. You can email them. You can text them. I haven't found anything that like a texting thing, but email and Facebook real good. You did mention, Doc, websites. Okay, websites. There's a lot of really good companies that make great websites. The biggest mistake I've ever seen is that the content is generic. You will go to 20 websites, they will have the exact same writing. So you touch on the fact of going and checking your own website out. Even if you have original content, rewriting the paragraphs again in your own words actually improves your search engine optimization, because Google now sees new content and it updates itself. If your website has common, some common writing on it, Google is going to recognize that, and it's going to omit you. Omit you means knock you out from searches. So you need to make sure that your content is fresh.
I love it. Well, you have given us so much information over this video. Is there any last minute parting words of wisdom of how you've been able to successfully navigate through this pandemic that we're going through? Anything else that you would want to leave us with?
Yeah, YouTube, I will tell you, you gotta stay positive. It's and Dr. Fab, you're like Mr. Positivity. I see you, and I see Les Brown, and I see some of, staying positive is critical. Stress, actually, like the number one killer in the world is heart disease and heart attacks. And so, being stressed out all the time is going to, wear you out quite a bit. Marketing wise, I did not mention about YouTube. On YouTube, make sure that your content is original. So if you notice, after you watch a YouTube video or a Facebook video, actually, either one, it automatically begins to play another video. You'll never see the same video twice, right? So if you took somebody else's video and you just put your name on it and you uploaded it back up, well, it's okay for your emails. It's okay for your website, but it's not going to get you any organic views. So I would just say, take the time, go through your website, make sure everything's content, everything's original, and just stay positive. It's so hard. I mean, my heart wrenches with some of the stories that I'm hearing. But, tough times don't last, tough people do. And right now, you just gotta stay focused and keep busy. Just keep as busy as possible. And I will tell you right now, you can give me any business owner out there, and I can guarantee you there's something they can do with their information. And if you're Mr. Perfection, rewrite your perfection.
One of the things that I've realized with a lot of my friends is that this has given everyone a chance to be able to see what has been wasted time, wasted energy, wasted activities that they have been spending time on. Focus on the essentials, focus on that 20% that's really yielding the 80% results. And this is the time to reevaluate your effectiveness, not only in your personal life, but in your business life. So thank you, Saleem. It's such a pleasure to have you on this interview. And congratulations on all your success. And thank you so much for always being a leader in the decompression world and being able to show people that there may be hope out there before you have to consider a surgery. So please, we know already that the science and all the studies we have done has said that surgery, especially in the spine, typically are not your first choice. The success rate is very low. These decompression machines are amazing. And I think you would love to be able to at least get an evaluation and see if maybe what you've been praying and looking for in your life. So thank you, Saleem. I appreciate you, man. And thank you for all the wealth of information you're giving us today.
Thank you so much. And, drx9000.com. To find a DRX9000 near you, go to drxhealth.com. And we will send you a provider near you.
That's awesome. All right, you heard it here. So please make sure you go to these links and check it out a little bit more. I'll see you guys.